Yes, people, greetings, welcome back again to the channel. Much love and respect to each and everyone supporting the Nick and Dad Podcast YouTube channel. The World Cup special, as we're ready to talk about the Samba Boys, the Joga Bonito, Brazil national team. We saw what Carlo Ancelotti did yesterday, the inclusion of the superstar Neymar Jr. in the Brazil national team for the upcoming FIFA World Cup in Mexico, Canada, and US. I will know what happened the last time Brazil played in a tournament where America hosted the comes onto the World Cup. They were victorious where they won their fourth World Cup title. Reaction straight off the bat. What's your thoughts? Around it as well. The first time you saw the squad dropped by Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, I think a big surprise. Neymar is back. A lot of Brazilian is very excited about that. But as a Chelsea fan, I feel very disappointed to see one of Chelsea best player last season miss out. Ja Pedro, you get what I'm saying? I think he have been robbed. One of the best striker, Brazil striker. We currently going on this season. You get what I'm saying? But I guess Brazil fans is happy. Their saver is back. Neymar.
Yeah, I think it's deeper than what a lot of people think or predict what would happen. But I think with Neymar, being in our own squad, psychologically, I think it will help the team, different ways. You can look at it. But we're going to get to that point as well. But when I look at the squad, I think it's a lot of experienced players. I think Ancelotti is going for a lot of experience more than youth at this moment. When you look at players that got include, especially at the back, the Alexandro, the Danilo, these two players, they are very experienced player as well. Neymar as well, Casemiro, very experienced brought back in, Fabinho as well. So I think he went for a lot of experience, in some key departments as well. But I think Neymar, in that attacking department where they stuck, to be honest, you have Luis Enrique from Zenit St. Petersburg, Ryan, the one that just got the move to the Premier League as well, playing for Bournemouth, Vinicius Jr., Rafinha, Gabriel Martinelli, Cunha, Hendrick, and also Igor Thiago. And if you look at that, a mix of youngsters, experience, as much as Rafinha and Vinicius Jr., they are not close to the age of 30, but they're very experienced of playing, for the Brazil national team. I think, look, I was expecting Joao Pedro, to get include in the team. Look at someone scored around between 15, 16 goals, in the Premier League this campaign. Look, that's very good in a very poor Chelsea team as well. And I think it's been a stop and go campaign for him. I think if you look at some of the interviews that he did, playing for Brazil, he was one of the biggest advocate for Neymar to return back to the national team. And he's the one that sacrificed. You get what I'm saying? So it's just how the sports work. But I think Brazil, this is not the best Brazil team. When I look at the wing backs, you look at some of the most famous wing backs, came through the ranks of the Brazil national team, won the World Cup for Brazil as well. The most two famous one, you talk about Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Dani Alves, Moican, Marcelo, these players. None of these players playing wing back for this Brazil team are up to that standard, not even halfway. And looking at Marquinhos, maybe Gabriel as well might be the two CB's partnership, in this national team. I think overall in a defensive structure, Brazil is in deep problem. If you ask me, we are in big problems. So
Yeah.
I think it's more of a name going into this World Cup. I think this team is not on the perfect form. They brought in Carlo Ancelotti to stabilize things, to get the ship rolling again. I saw Chiche was at the helm, in previous World Cup. So I think quite a few coaches came in but couldn't really manage to get over the line. Let's see if the Italian, can get this Brazil team over the line. A team that Brazil last beat in the US to get to a World Cup, glory days as well. So moving on and looking at some of the key players. Look, we talk about Neymar. He's going to be on a lot of people lips. I think Rafinha and Vinicius Jr. Those two players are in their prime at this given moment. And looking at it in hindsight, since Rafinha joined Barcelona, he created close to 300 big opportunities for his teammates. I think it's time, for these two players to step up. I think it's time to remove themselves from out of the dark room. Let's face the reality. Neymar has always been that player, to face the criticism, to put himself in the limelight, the one that always to get the first critique from every Brazilian fans out there. So I think with these two players in their prime, Vinicius Jr. for the last 3-4 campaign been scoring 20 plus goals for Real Madrid. So the standards, it's not so much high where you would like Vinicius Jr. to be at this moment, but with these two players in their top form, they should carry the torch over the line for this Brazil team more than what they expect from a Neymar Jr.
Yeah, I think the area where I'm looking at Brazil, I think they're very much weak in the midfield. I think that's where they're gonna have most of the problem going forward in this World Cup. The legs, they have Casemiro, they have Fabinho that's playing in Al Ittihad in the Saudi Pro League, and then they have Gamiris from Newcastle, which we would say is the only um top player that's playing at a certain level right now. I'm kind of surprised they didn't win with Joe Linton. I think Joe Linton and Gimenez could have a very good work ethic in there. But I think Casemiro in the last inning of the Premier League season, he have a really, really good inning in the Premier League season. And coming in with experience as well. They get what I'm saying. But I feel like that's where they're gonna be lacking a lot of legs. Andre Santos from Chelsea also miss out. I think he could have been a good addition as well. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think Brazil, I think defense with Marquinhos and Gabriel, that should be a good solid unit. Keeper, they should be good. With Allison and what's his name from used to play for Man City. He had
Oh, Edison.
in Edison. So I think defense at wing back kind of a little bit suspect. They still have they still
Alexandro.
have Alexander Sandro. I don't know. I think Brazil have really declined over the years when it
Yeah.
comes to full blocks. You get what I'm saying? They have Wesley from Roma, and pretty decent going
Yeah,
forward,
pretty
but
decent.
I don't think he's good defensively. And then I just think that Estaval is a big missing for this team as well. Estaval, Rodrigo, unfortunate injuries for these players. You get what I'm saying? So I just think the one of the big miss with his job Pedro because what
Also,
happened is
Militao as well,
yeah,
struggling for fitness.
Milital is a definitely miss as well. But I just feel like when it comes to job Pedro missing out, I think Thiago is different from job Pedro, what job Pedro would have run. You get what I'm saying? And I just think that I think Ryan's a big surprise will make it. You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
So I just think that this Brazil team is gonna be flair in the group stage, but do I see them anywhere we're in the quarterfinals, semifinals? I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a miracle, for this Brazil team to be anywhere in the last four of this World Cup campaign. When I look at it, Gabriel Martinelli, how did he make this squad? How did Gabriel Martinelli make this squad? I don't know. Is it because of his pace? Look, I know sometimes speaking a World Cup team, you can't go off the tangibles of who is on farm. You want to go on who going to bring the balance, in this team. And I would love to know what is the reasons, around Gabriel Martinelli. What will be role, coming off the bench, as well. You're looking at it where Vinicius, Rafinha, very explosive wingers. I think others from that, maybe Gabriel Martinelli and Ryan can really back up those two wingers as well. And then Edric and Thiago and Neymar and Cunha will fight for the spot through the middle. Luis Enrique, another winger as well. Young player, I think not so much, stuck in the goal department for Zenit. But I just feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure on Neymar, even though he's coming into this team as someone that's been go through a lot of injuries, over the last couple of years. And as I said, I think these players need to put themselves out there now. This is the time to shine. Neymar has passed his best, but psychological what he's going to bring, to this national team, I don't think there's anyone around, the availability of Brazilians could really bring to the party. And I think, look, it's the flair, the 70 plus goals that he scored for Brazil, he's a
Yeah.
legend. So I just think that the ability, up in his brain, maybe he's a better smart player at this moment, but he's not so explosive anymore. So he's going to have to be clever, in this World Cup. And I would like to see how Ancelotti is going to play him. Will he start? What will be his role? Will he be a super sub? Will Neymar accept to be a super sub at this given time? So I don't see Neymar as a straight up starter in this game, in this tournament, to be honest, especially in the group stage. I will save a lot of his legs for the knockout rounds because that's where Brazil is going to need him most. If you look at what happened in the last couple of World Cups, yeah, we lost 7-1 in Brazil, Germany. We got knocked out by, the Kevin De Bruyne stunner with Belgium, the Croatia penalty kick. What will happen this time around? So I just think that it is time for the Brazilians to shine, in the Americas region. But this squad, of Brazilian players, I think it's over the years it has deteriorated very bad. And I just think that the wingers will expose these two center half, the wing backs as well. They will expose the center half as well. They will want to push forward. Vinicius, Rafinha, they don't known for wingers that will track back and help, in their defensive duties. So I just think that with the incompetence of some of these wing backs like the Sanjo, the Douglas, Santos from Zenit as well, very attacking fullback. So let's see, how Carl Ancelotti going to set up this team. Very intrigued to know what will be the starting level for the first game for the Brazil national team.
Yeah, I just don't see Neymar starting at all in this Brazil team. Definitely can come on, especially when they need something. You get what I'm saying, something different. You get what I'm saying. But what I'm really really looking forward from Neymar in this tournament is leadership. You get what I'm saying. And I know I remember that 2018 World Cup with the gimmicks of rolling on the field 24/7, dive in. You get what I'm saying. So I'm thinking that if this Neymar come around the team, he have to bring some type of leadership and the gimmicks. You get what I'm saying? Is have to stop. You get me? Because I feel like people paint a bad picture about Neymar. You get what I'm saying? Off the field antics. So him coming in, he have to make sure that because remember, all of these Brazilian players look up to Neymar. You get what I'm saying? He is the idol. He is the that superstar. You get what I'm saying? So hopefully he can able to guide them through the tough moment, especially Vinicius Jr., who have not performed for Brazil good since he played for Brazil. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I just don't see him in starting, but as you said, maybe in the knockout stage where they really need someone to unlock something, and you get what I'm saying? So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, that's the roundup for you guys. Reaction to the Brazil national team that's selected yesterday by Don Carlo Ancelotti, the Italian. Let's see what will happen if the first international coach can win the major tournament for the Brazil national team. So we'll leave it right there. Much love and respect, people. If you haven't subscribed as yet, please subscribe to the channel. Much love and respect. Peace out to each and everyone. See you guys until next time.